You know what's funny? Some of the best tips I use at home now didn't come from any cleaning video or organizing guide. They showed up on the days I just didn't have the energy. Like I really didn't want to wash another chopping board, so I gave it a quick rinse and used it again. And it turned out that was totally fine. These tips aren't fancy. They're just small, useful things you can actually do while you're cooking dinner, folding laundry, or trying to get through the evening without feeling overwhelmed. I've tested every one of them on a messy day, and honestly, they've helped my home feel calmer without me having to try so hard. So in this video, I'm sharing 15 simple home tips I've tried and I keep coming back to because they make daily life feel more manageable. Let's get into them. Tip number 1 is this: when you own less, you have less to clean. That sounds obvious, but I didn't really feel the truth of it until I got sick of constantly picking up the same things over and over again. Toys that never got played with. Storage boxes filled with stuff I hadn't looked at in months. Decorative pieces I didn't even like anymore but felt bad getting rid of. The house wasn't dirty, but it always felt full, like no matter how much I tidied, there was still too much everywhere. So one weekend, I started small. Just one shelf in the kitchen. I cleared out everything I didn't use, duplicates, gadgets. I forgot I owned containers with missing lids. And instantly, that space felt calmer. Easier to wipe down. Easier to keep tidy without even trying. That one shelf gave me the motivation to do one drawer, then one cupboard, then one basket of miscellaneous stuff that had followed us through 3 house moves. I didn't declutter everything at once. It took weeks. But every time I let go of something, I felt a little more in control. And the house? It stayed clean longer. So if you're tired of tidying the same spaces over and over, try looking at what's sitting there making your job harder. Less stuff doesn't mean empty. It just means you get your space back. And a little more peace in your day. We'll actually talk more about this in an upcoming video, the quiet little things people do that make their homes feel clean all the time, even when life is messy behind the scenes. It's not always about scrubbing or organizing. Sometimes it's the way they set things up in the first place. But for now, we're sticking with simple, realistic tips. Let's keep going. Tip number 2 is do it now, not later. For the longest time, I had this habit of putting things off. Not big things, just the little stuff. Like wiping the kitchen counter after cooking, putting the shoes back on the rack, folding the laundry that's been sitting on the chair all day. I'd tell myself I'll get to it later. But later usually meant the mess had grown. Or I was too tired. Or I just didn't want to deal with any of it. So now I try to do the small things as soon as I see them. If it takes less than a minute, I do it right away. Put the scissors back. Wipe that spill. Toss the wrapper in the bin. Nothing dramatic, just the kind of things that if you don't do them now, they come back to bother you later. And honestly, when I stay on top of the little stuff, the whole house feels easier to manage. There's less buildup, less overwhelm. And I don't end up spending my Saturday cleaning what could have been done in 5 seconds on a Tuesday. So that's it. Do it now, even if it's small. Tip number 3 is rinse and reuse while you cook. I used to throw every single thing I used straight into the sink, the knife, the cutting board, the bowl. I mixed something in even if I only used it for a minute. By the time dinner was ready, the kitchen looked like a disaster. And honestly, I hadn't even cooked that much. It was just a habit. One task, one tool, then straight to the pile. Now I do something different. If I know I'll need that knife again in 5 minutes, I just rinse it under the tap, wipe it off, and use it again. Same with the bowl or the grater, a quick rinse, and it's good to go. It's not about being perfect. It's about not creating more work for yourself. Because when the meal's done and there's only a few things in the sink, you feel like, okay, I can handle this. The kitchen doesn't feel like it turned against you. This tip doesn't take extra effort, it actually saves it. You're already at the sink, already washing your hands, already there. Just take that 1 second to rinse and reuse. It keeps your counter clear, your dishes fewer, and your energy up for the rest of the evening. The fourth tip is one I rely on almost every week: cook once, use twice. It's not about making a huge batch or eating leftovers the same way. It's about being intentional when you cook, so the effort stretches further. For example, if I'm making lentils for dinner, I'll cook enough so that I can use the extra tomorrow, maybe turn it into a soup or mash it into a quick filling. If I'm already chopping vegetables, I'll roast double and save half for lunch the next day. It's one round of cooking, but it covers 2 meals. And the second meal takes almost no thinking because part of it is already done. What I love about this is that it doesn't feel like extra work. You're already in the kitchen, already cooking. This just makes it count for more. It saved me so many evenings when I didn't have the time or brain space to start from scratch. So if you're cooking anyway, look for ways to make it stretch. Not to stockpile, just to make tomorrow easier. Cook once, use twice. It's a small shift, but it takes so much pressure off the rest of the week. The fifth thing that's helped me stop rushing every morning is this. I get a few things ready the night before. Nothing complicated, just small things I know I'll be annoyed about when I wake up. Like packing the school bag, laying out clothes, setting aside what I need for breakfast. If I know I have an early appointment, I'll fill up my water bottle or move the frozen meat to the fridge. These are the kinds of things that only take 2 minutes, but somehow feel impossible when I'm half asleep and the kitchen's a mess. I used to leave everything for the morning, and then wonder why I always felt behind before 8 a.m. Now, even if I just do 2 or 3 small things the night before, I notice the difference. The house feels calmer. I'm not barking orders at the kids or forgetting things on the counter. And weirdly, I sleep better too because I'm not lying in bed mentally running through a list of what I forgot. So that's number 5. Prepare for tomorrow tonight. Number 6 is something I used to think only super organized people did, but now it's just part of my routine. I pre-prep the ingredients I use all the time. Not full meal prep, just the little things that slow me down every day. Like peeling a whole garlic bulb and storing it in a jar so I'm not doing it from scratch every time. Or chopping extra onions when I'm already crying over one. I even crush ginger and freeze it in teaspoons so I don't have to pull out the grater every morning when I make chai. It sounds small, but those 10-second tasks pile up. And when I don't have to do them in the middle of a busy moment, everything goes smoother. I started by just paying attention, noticing what I keep reaching for in the kitchen. What I'm always chopping, always peeling, always running out of. Then I started prepping those things ahead. Not every week, just when I already have them out. It's not about planning your entire week of meals. It's about making the things you already cook easier to cook. And once those few ingredients are ready, even a messy day feels more manageable. Seventh on the list is something so simple I almost didn't bother trying it: double line your trash can. It means putting 2 or even 3 garbage bags in at once, layered inside each other. When one is full, you just lift it out and the next one is already there, ready to go. No extra step. No digging through the cupboard with dirty hands trying to find a replacement. I started doing this after a few too many moments where I emptied the bin, forgot to line it, and then came back later to toss something messy in. And of course it landed straight into the bare plastic. Now the trash can itself was dirty, and suddenly I was washing out food gunk when I didn't have time or energy for it. That's when I realized it's not the cleaning that drains me, it's these surprise messes that pop up because I skipped a tiny step. So I tried the double bag thing. And it worked. No thinking, no searching. Just pull and go. It's such a small shift, but I don't forget to reline the bin anymore because it's already done. I do this in the kitchen, the bathroom, even the little bin in the bedroom. It works everywhere. And on busy days, it's one less thing to fix, clean, or chase after. So if your trash routine is always a bit annoying, try this. You'll be surprised how often it saves you from an extra mess you didn't see coming. Number 8 is a dishwasher tip. I wish I'd learned sooner use dishes and tools that actually fit well in your machine. For the longest time, I used bulky colanders, awkward mixing bowls, and giant cutting boards, things that never sat right in the rack. Every time I loaded the dishwasher, it was like a game of Tetris. Things wouldn't stand up, plates leaned against each other, and I always ended up hand-washing the weird-shaped items anyway. Then one day I swapped out a few things. I found a flatter colander, smaller cutting boards, and serving bowls that could stack neatly in the rack. Nothing fancy, just tools that made the most of the space I already had. Suddenly, the dishwasher could hold more clean better, and I didn't have a random pile of things waiting in the sink when the cycle was done. I'm not saying you need to toss out your favorite tools, but if there's something that never quite fits and always ends up getting washed by hand, maybe it's time to find a version that works better for your setup. Because a dishwasher is supposed to save you effort, not create more of it. This one change has made cleanup feel smoother, especially on nights when I just want the kitchen done and over with. So if your dishwasher always feels too full or never quite fits everything, take a look at what you're putting in. The right shape can make all the difference. Ninth on the list, switch from plastic containers to glass whenever you can. I didn't do this all at once. It started with one leftover container that always smelled weird no matter how many times I washed it. Then, I noticed how long the plastic ones took to dry. I'd unload the dishwasher and they'd still be damp hours later, taking up space on the counter. So I picked up one small set of glass containers just to try. And honestly, total game changer. They dry faster, don't stain, and don't hang on to the smell of curry or onions for 3 days. I also noticed something unexpected: they stack better. The lids actually stay put. And because they're heavier, they don't topple over every time I open the drawer. I still have a few plastic ones for school lunches or things I might lose, but the everyday stuff, glass all the way. I use them for leftovers, meal prep, even heating things in the oven. And yes, they're a little heavier, but they don't warp in the dishwasher or crack after 2 months. If you've got a pile of mismatched plastic lids and tubs that never fit each other, maybe it's time to replace just a few with something that works better. Not everything, just the ones you use the most. Because sometimes the smallest upgrade makes your kitchen feel calmer. And in the middle of a busy week, that counts for a lot. 10th on the list is a tiny swap that's made my dishwasher work way better. I use plain white vinegar as a rinse aid. I found this out by accident, honestly. I ran out of the usual rinse liquid and didn't want to make a special trip to the store, so I poured in a bit of vinegar just to see what would happen. And guess what? My dishes came out cleaner. The glass looked clearer, the cutlery had less residue, and the machine didn't smell weird. So I kept doing it. Now I just refill the rinse aid compartment with regular vinegar every few weeks. It takes seconds, it costs basically nothing, and it actually works. No film, no streaks, no chemical smell left on the dishes. What surprised me most was how well it cuts through food odors, especially after cooking something strong like curry or garlicky pasta. The vinegar helps everything come out neutral and fresh without layering on fake lemon scent. And unlike some rinse products, it doesn't leave a strange taste on the glasses. I still use regular detergent, but this little change has made the whole cycle more effective, and I haven't bought rinse aid in months. So if you've got a bottle of white vinegar sitting in your pantry, try it in your dishwasher. Just a splash does the job, and your dishes and your budget might thank you. 11th on the list is something I honestly didn't know existed until recently: filter liners for your range hood. If you've ever tried cleaning that greasy mesh filter, you know it's one of those tasks you keep putting off, and when you finally do it, it's gross. I used to scrub mine with hot water detergent baking soda, and it still never felt fully clean. Then someone told me about these simple liners. They're like sheets you cut to size and place right over the filter. They catch the grease before it hits the metal, and when they get dirty, you just peel them off and replace. That's it. No scrubbing, no soaking, no dragging the filter out and letting it drip all over the sink. I still clean the actual filter once in a while, but far less often than before. These liners extend the time between deep cleanse and honestly save me a lot of energy. I change mine about once a month, and it takes less than a minute. You can find them online or at most home stores. Just look for range hood filter liners or grease filter sheets. They're inexpensive and surprisingly effective. If your stovetop gets heavy use, or if you cook with a lot of oil and spices, this little upgrade might be worth trying. It doesn't feel like a big deal until the day you don't have to scrub built-up grease on a Sunday morning. 12th on the list is something I didn't use for years, because I didn't realize my appliances could even do it scheduling them to run on their own. My dishwasher and washing machine both have delay start settings, and once I started using them, it honestly felt like I had a secret helper in the house. I'll load the dishwasher after dinner, but instead of running it right away, I'll set it to start at 2 a.m. Same with the laundry, I can load it in the evening and have it finished just as I wake up. That way, I'm not listening to the noise while we're trying to relax, and I'm not running machines during the busiest parts of the day. I also like that it spreads out my energy bills a little by avoiding peak hours. But really, the biggest benefit is mental. I wake up to progress. The dishes are clean, the clothes are ready to hang, and I didn't have to think about any of it the night before. Of course, it depends on the appliance, not everything has that feature. But if yours does and you've never tried it, it might be worth exploring. It's not about automating your whole house, just letting the machines do their thing while you sleep or step away. One less thing on your mind and one more task that gets done without effort. 13th on the list, use small kitchen tools that actually make your life easier. I used to think gadgets were just clutter, more things to store, more pieces to wash. But I've slowly found a few simple ones that I now reach for almost every day. Nothing fancy, just smart little tools that take the edge off repetitive tasks. Like kitchen scissors that cut vegetables right into the bowl. Or a silicone garlic peeler. I didn't think I needed it until I used it once and realized I never wanted to go back to peeling garlic by hand. I also love my oil spray bottle. I use it to grease pans, mist veggies before roasting even coat dough without using my fingers. It gives just the right amount without mess. These tools aren't about cooking faster. They're about not dreading the little things that slow you down. When something's easier, you're more likely to actually do it and not put it off or overthink it. You don't need a drawer full of gadgets. Just one or two that fit your routine can make a big difference. So if there's a task in your kitchen that always feels annoying or messy, there might be a tool that quietly solves it. And if it saves you 5 minutes or one small headache every day, that's worth the drawer space. 14th on the list is a gentle one. If you can afford a bit of help, let yourself have it. I used to feel like I had to do everything myself, cook, clean, plan, wipe, fold. And if I couldn't keep up, it felt like I was failing at something basic. But here's the truth. Life is full. And if a robot vacuum or a good food processor can take even one thing off your plate, it's not lazy, it's smart. I got a small robot vacuum as a gift, and honestly, I didn't expect much. But it runs quietly while I'm making dinner, and the floors stay cleaner without me even thinking about it. That alone made me breathe easier. Same with a decent blender that can actually handle what I cook. No more re-blending or straining or standing there coaxing it to work. The time and energy saved is real. I'm not saying you need fancy gear. And this definitely isn't about buying your way to a clean house. It's just about looking at your hardest, most exhausting task and asking, could a tool do this for me? If the answer is yes, and it's within reach, there's no shame in saying yes to that kind of help. You don't have to do every single thing the hard way. 15th, and maybe the simplest tip of all, wear your pajamas twice before tossing them in the laundry. That might sound obvious, but for a long time, I didn't even think about it. I just tossed them in the basket every morning out of habit. And then wonder why the laundry pile kept growing even though we hadn't gone anywhere. But the truth is, most of the time pajamas are worn for a few quiet hours before bed. You're not sweating in them, you're not cooking in them, you're just resting. So why treat them like dirty gym clothes? Now I keep a little hook in the closet just for still clean clothes. Pajamas. A sweater I wore once, even jeans that aren't quite ready for the wash. It's nothing fancy, just a way to pause before adding one more thing to the laundry. And over time, it adds up. Fewer loads to run, less folding, less of that feeling like laundry is never ending. It's not about cutting corners, it's just about not making extra work for yourself when you don't need to. So if you've been washing things out of habit, not out of necessity, try this. One less outfit in the basket means one small win for your week, and sometimes that's enough. And that's it. 15 small practical tips that can take a bit of pressure off your day. You don't have to use them all at once. Even one or two, if they make your evening feel calmer or your kitchen easier to manage, that's already a win. In the next video, we're talking about something I think a lot of us wonder: why some homes just feel clean all the time, even when they're not spotless. What's going on behind that? I'll share what I've learned and the small shift that made a big difference for me. If today's video helped at all, don't forget to like, share it with a friend, and subscribe so you don't miss what's next. Thanks so much for being here, and I'll see you in the next one.